Hello and welcome to today's session. My name is Brian Spinellini and I'm a Senior Principal Product Manager for Oracle Database Cloud Services. Today we're going to talk about how to start developing with the Oracle Database Cloud, as well as using the Database Cloud in creating your very own database as a service within our Oracle Database Cloud Services. Take a moment and read our Safe Harbor statement. What this basically says is, seeing that we may be talking about the future direction of the product, we ask that you don't make any purchasing decisions based upon this information. Let's now start with an overview and introduction of the Oracle Database Cloud Service. Here we're going to tell you all about the different types of cloud services we have, what they do, some of the basic features about them, and what makes them special compared to everyone else's cloud services. So when we set off to make our database cloud service, we wanted to maintain a few key things, and that was that the software that we used in the cloud was the exact same software that that you use on-premise. What that means is, with the same software and the same skills that you have today, you can seamlessly apply them and use them in the cloud. We don't ask you to buy cloud-specific tools or learn a new skill set to maintain and monitor and tune these Oracle databases in the cloud. You're basically using the exact same skill set that you have today. And what this allows you to do is truly to have a hybrid cloud. A hybrid cloud where you can manage and monitor and work with these databases with a single pane of glass, using all of your existing skill sets and use all the existing tools that you own and have today on premises. Next, let's have an overview of our database cloud services. First, we have our Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service. And this gives you a full Oracle database in the cloud. You have root access, you have Oracle user access, you have SQLnet access. It comes fully configured with Oracle REST data services, Oracle Application Express, as well as some new stuff that we'll talk about later. This is great for test environments, development environments, using these environments for upgrading and trying out new features of 12c. Again, great for Application Express development and the deployment of existing applications. Next up is our Oracle Exadata Cloud Service. This gives you a full Exadata in the cloud. This is for our mission-critical applications and database use cases. You get the full power of an Exadata, coming in multiple sizes, which we'll talk about later. This gives you, again, all the advantages of the Exadata hardware, such as the storage node, the InfiniBand, and the high availability of an Exadata service. Next in the list is our Oracle Database Express Cloud Service. This is a fully managed database schema in the cloud. You never have to worry about patching or maintaining this database because Oracle does it for you. It comes pre-configured with Oracle Application Express, with Oracle REST data services, and it can be used in conjunction with a lot of our other cloud services, such as our BI cloud service and our Java cloud service. This is great for development and deployment of departmental applications, as well as if you want to move from apex.oracle.com to a more production type system. This is a great service for that. The Express Cloud Service is also a great service for mobile development. Seeing that Oracle REST data services comes pre-configured with every Express Cloud service, you can REST enable your data and expose it to mobile applications and mobile devices. Last on our list is the Oracle Database Backup Cloud Service. This service is a very inexpensive way for enterprises to back up their data off-site. We see a lot of companies who don't have off-site backup strategies, and this is a great inexpensive way for them to start. What you do is you download this little jar file, it pre-configures RMAN for you, and then starts encrypting and sending your backups to our cloud storage. Once in cloud storage, you can recover from these backups, and you can also use these backups to recover into cloud instances as well. As I said, it's great for companies that don't have any offsite backup strategies, and it's also an inexpensive way for companies who already do have backup strategies to have another level of backup offsite. Coming in the first half of 2016 is going to be Oracle's Database Cloud Free service. This service is going to give you a free Oracle 12c database schema in our cloud. The quote is going to be about 100 megabytes, and it's going to be free for as long as you use it. Coming with this is Application Express and Oracle REST data services. This is great for trying out our cloud service, as well as Application Express development and RESTful web service development. Again, this is coming in the first half of 2016, so keep an eye out for it. This next slide goes into depth to all the technical details about our services. So first, what we just talked about was the free service, and there you can see the max storage or quota, which is 100 megabytes, and you get a single schema. Next up is the Express service, which we again talked about, and we see an asterisk next to PDB. So very soon, the Express service, you'll have your choice between either a schema or a PDB in our cloud. And these sizes ranges from 5 to 20 to 50, all the way up to 250 gigabytes of storage. Next is our Standard or Enterprise Edition cloud service. And as we talked about before, this gives you the full database in the cloud. And the database sizes on here can range between 50 gigabytes all the way up to around 4.6 terabytes. Next up is our Managed Enterprise service, and this is a service that is coming sometime in 2016. And with this service, we will be the DBAs. We'll manage and monitor your databases, and all you need to do is write your applications against them. Next, we see Exadata Cloud Service, and as I said before, Exadata Cloud Service comes in 3 particular sizes. It comes in a quarter rack, a half rack, or a full rack. And depending on which size you choose, you'll get a certain amount of space and processors for you to scale with. They start at as low as 28 OCPUs, or Oracle CPUs, and 42 terabytes of usable space, all the way up to 272 processors and 168 terabytes of usable space. Last on this slide, again coming in 2016, is our Managed Exadata service. Very similar to the Managed Enterprise Database Cloud Service, the Managed Exadata Cloud Service, we will be your DBA. So we will manage and monitor that Exadata Cloud Service, and all you need to worry about is running your mission-critical applications or data warehouses. Let's now take a look at the additions of our Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service. To start off, we offer Standard Edition, and Standard Edition can be brought up in either an 11G R2 or 12C instance. You have a choice of all the way up to 16 CPUs and 240 gigabytes of memory per Standard Edition instance. Next is our Enterprise Editions. In start off, we have regular Enterprise Edition, and this again can be brought up in 11G R2 or 12C and includes all the standard Enterprise Edition features. A step up from that would be our Enterprise Edition High Performance, and this adds some great options such as multi-tenancy, partitioning, advanced compression, advanced security, real application testing, management packs for Enterprise Manager, spatial and graph, and OLAP and analytics. One step above that is our Extreme Performance Edition, and here you get 2-node rack, the in-memory option, and active data guard. One thing to note, that with all these editions, whether it be Standard or Enterprise Edition, all new tablespace data files are encrypted by default. So if you create a new tablespace file, that file will be encrypted by default. You do not have to set any options or add any clauses to your SQL statement to create that encrypted tablespace data file. So what makes our Database as a Service cloud product different than all the rest of them out there? To start, we offer simple provisioning, and this is very important. So we'll see this in a demo in a few minutes, but we are able to provision these database cloud services with very simple and very streamlined UIs. Now, all the user has to do is go in there, give the database a name, say how big you want it, select the options you want in that database, and then hit the Create button. In less than 60 minutes later, you can have a database up and running. Now, this is great because you may have project managers or you may have development managers that need these databases up and running very quickly. And traditionally, from talking to customers, we've seen this process to get a database installed take anywhere from a week to 6 months in time. There's a lot of steps used or needed in that step for this provisioning process. You have to provision the hardware, you have to provision the operating system, you have to get someone to install and get these databases up and running and configure them, and then open up the Linux ports and have the Linux boxes hardened. There are many, many, many steps to do to get a database provisioned inside an IT organization. But as I said, with these cloud databases, in 60 minutes or less, you can have this database up and running, ready to go after you take your lunch break. Now, we also provide one-click patching. So through the same UI that you go in there and create that database with, we have a section called patching or administration. And in this administration section is this patching tab that shows you all the patches that you can apply to this database. And then there's a button underneath it that says patch. So as patches come or are available for our database cloud services, you will see them there. When you're ready to patch, and now you're not forced to patch, when you're ready to patch, you can click that patch button and our system will take your database down, patch it, and then bring it right back up for you. All with a single click of that patch button. And if you need to roll that patch off, we also have a rollback button where it will bring your database down, roll back the patch, and then bring it back up automatically for you. We've also made backup and recovery of these database as a service instances very easy. We have special tooling that works at the command line and soon to be in the UI that you could do a point-in-time backup with a click of the button or a simple OS level command. And we also make it even easier to recover. So if you need to recover from a database backup, whether it's offsite in our object store or if it's local in our FRA, we have the tools to help you do that. We also have the tools that help you take a full backup from our database backup service, bring it to the cloud, and bring that database back up in a cloud instance. Our database cloud services are language agnostic. We don't care what language you'd like to develop in. For example, in our applications container service, you can bring up a Node.js instance and point it back to the database cloud service. You can also do that in our Java cloud service. In fact, in our Java cloud service, you're able to configure the database with our Java Cloud Service. So when that Java Cloud Service comes up, the database as a service is already registered as a data source in WebLogic. With our infrastructure as a service, you can now or soon to be able to deploy Windows images so you can do .NET development. You can also right now deploy Linux images, so if you wanted to do PHP development and point it back at our instances, you're able to do that as well. We touched a little bit on security in the last slide, saying that all new tablespace data files are encrypted by default. We also go one step further by automatically configuring native SQLnet encryption for you by default out of the box. So when you bring up these database cloud service instances, the only port that is open is the SSH port or port 22. And when you create these instances through the provisioning process, you give it this public key. And you, and only the customer, has the matching private key. And these private public keys have to match for that SSH session to start. Otherwise, you're not going to get into this cloud instance. If you need to open up more ports to your database as a service instance, you can do this in the Compute UI. In a very simple point-and-click interface, you can open up more ports, such as the SSL port or the HTTP port. And for one more level of security, we also allow you to configure IP whitelisting in the same UI. Lastly, we have local and remote management. We've actually written specific tools for managing and monitoring your Oracle Database as a Service cloud instance. To start, we have a Database as a Service monitor. This 100% HTML5 application allows you to manage and monitor your database from any device, whether that be a phone, a tablet, or your desktop. We touched on hybrid management earlier, and this brings us to our special Enterprise Manager Hybrid Agent. This hybrid agent, once deployed to your Database as a Service cloud instance, securely communicates with your local Enterprise Manager instance. Over this secure communication, you can manage and monitor your cloud instance just as you would any on-premise instance. We've also taken our easy-to-use UI and tooling and put it on rack for our Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service. Start with a 2-node rack instance, starting at 4 OCPUs per node, going all the way up to 16, giving you a 32 CPU cluster with 480 gigabytes of RAM. And these rack instances are created in the same exact UI where you create your regular Database as a Service instances. All you have to do is check a single checkbox, and you now have a rack instance created in about 60 minutes. Using our rack command line interface tools, you're able to do patching in an automated rolling patching fashion. So once you issue this command, this tooling will take down a node, patch it while the other one is still up, brings up the patch one, takes the other unpatched node down, patches that, and brings that up, never giving you a single point of downtime so you can continue to use your applications that are using this rack cluster. You can also stop, start, and restart individual nodes using the Database as a Service console. Again, using the same software skills and tools that you have for maintaining your local rack instances. Again, same software in the cloud, you can use that skills and knowledge to manage these rack instances in the cloud. What we're going to do now is go into a live Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service. Once we're in this service, we're going to go and provision a database cloud service. Once it's done provisioned, we're going to go and show you how easy it is to open and close ports in the compute console, scale up the instance to maybe more CPU, more memory, or more storage, and lastly, have a tour of all the tools and management consoles that we get with an Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service. After you've signed up for your trial, you'll receive an email very similar to this email here. And what you want to note mainly is your username and your temporary password. You'll find that under username and temporary password, right here on my email. Next, under the My Services Administration area, you'll see this URL. This is the URL you will use to log into your service. If you scroll down, you'll see all the subscription details that a trial service gives you. We have some Oracle Storage and Oracle Compute Cloud services. Also included with this trial is Java public cloud services, such as the Integration Cloud Service, the Application Container Cloud Service, the Messaging Cloud Service, the Java Cloud Service, and the Documents Cloud Service, as well as the SOA Cloud Service. You'll also see what we're going to be talking about today is our Database Cloud Services. So here we have the Database Cloud Service and the Database Backup Cloud Service. Lastly, if you'd like to try it later on, you can look at the Trial Developer Cloud Service. So let's go up here and go ahead, everyone, click on this link under the My Services Administration, and that'll take you directly to the sign-on page. Now that we've clicked that URL, we come to the Cloud Sign-In page. You'll see it says welcome and the identity domain that you were given within your email, also what you chose when you asked for the trial. So go ahead and sign in here with your username and your password. Once you've entered your username and password, go ahead and click the sign in button. If this is a new account, you'll be asked to change your password from the temporary password to a more permanent one. If you've already done that, then you'll be taken directly to the dashboard page. Once on the dashboard page, again, we'll be able to see all the services that we have available to us in this trial account. You can scroll up and down the page and see all the services. You can also click this menu in the upper left-hand corner and see all the services here as well. Go ahead and click on the Oracle Database Cloud Service link. We are now on the Oracle Database Cloud Service console. Let's create a service. Go ahead and click this Create Service button right here. It's first going to ask you what service level you'd like and the billing frequency. Since this is a trial account, go ahead and keep the defaults and click the Next button. Next, it's going to ask you, do you want an 11G R2 database or a 12C database? Let's use a 12C database. On this page, it's going to ask you what edition you want. Let's go with the Enterprise Edition Extreme Performance Edition. And then once done, click Next. This final page is going to ask us about the details of our service. So let's start in the service configuration area. Let's name our service Demo Database. We can add a description if we want, but underneath description is shape. Here's where you pick the shape of your virtual cloud instance. Now you can start as small as a single OCPU and 7.5 gigabytes of memory, going all the way up to 16 CPUs and 240 gigabytes of memory. Let's keep it on one OCPU and 7.5 gigabytes of memory. Next, we can pick our time zone. So if we like to pick our server to have a specific time zone, we can choose it here. Since I'm recording this in January, let's pick Hawaii Standard Time. Next is the public key. This is where you add a public key to your instance. The document shows you how to create this public key. And once you have this public key, you'll have a corresponding private key. When this database as a service comes up, you need that public-private key match to be able to access the database. Just click the Edit button. And now we can choose our file. So go ahead and choose a file and find it on your desktop. Once you find your key, go ahead, click it, and then hit the Open button. We see our key here, and now we hit the Enter button. Next, we'll look at the database configuration area. Here we start with how much usable storage we want to give our instance. Next, we have the administrative password. This password is going to be used throughout our database cloud service. Go ahead and give it a password that follows these rules right here. Next, we can name our database by giving the SID a particular name we want, and we can name the default PDB that's created. We also can change our character set and national character set of our database by choosing one of these options here. And lastly, we can configure our backup and recovery of our instance. We have two choices. We can do local and cloud storage, or we could do no backups at all. For what we can do here, let's choose cloud and local storage so we can have this database backed up not only locally, but encrypted and sent over to our cloud storage so we can retrieve those backups and recover from them if needed. Go ahead and start with our cloud storage container. Our cloud storage container syntax is usually storage with a capital S, dash, your identity domain, followed by a slash, and then the container that you created in our cloud storage. My container is called backup container. Next, the username and password of our cloud storage user. This is usually the same username and password that you use to log into the service. Lastly, we can create a rack database, and we can also choose to include our demos PDB. This PDB is a demos PDB, as the name says, which includes multiple demos that range from a 6 million row table for doing in-memory demos to JSON demos to XML demos and Application Express demos. It even contains a data miner repository. Once you've selected your options, go ahead and click the Next button. On this page, we can see an overview of all the options we've chose. If you're happy with these options, go ahead and hit the Create button. Back on our page, we can see our database, and we can see the status is in progress. Now that provisioning has completed, let's look at the features of our database cloud service. Let's start by looking at the details of our database cloud service. Go ahead and click on the Demo Database link right here. Here we can see all the details about our cloud service, such as the public IP, the SID, the PDB name, and the resources used over here on the right side. We can also see the resources on the top in this gray bar area. If we scroll down a little bit, we can see some information about it, such as the identity domain used, and the location, and our service level and addition to the database. By clicking Show More, we can see a lot more details, such as the cloud storage container used, our time zone, when it was created, and who created it. We can also see our connect string right here. On the Administration tab, we can see any patch information. Here we can see there is a patch available for our database cloud service. If you wanted to patch the instance, go ahead and click this menu here and select Pre-check to make sure the patch will apply and there are no conflicts. And after that's done, we can click the Patch button or the Patch menu item. This will take our database down, patch it for us, and bring it back up. Back over here on the Overview tab, in this menu, we can see we can start our instance, stop our instance, restart our instance, as well as scale up. Clicking Scale Up brings up the Scale Up modal. Here we can change the compute shape to a higher compute shape, or we can scale back to a lower compute shape. We can also add additional storage, and we can choose to add that storage either to extend the data storage for the data files or the backup storage to extend the FRA. Let's go back to the main page. Go ahead and click this breadcrumb in the upper left-hand corner. Over here in this menu on the right-hand side, we can see all the service consoles we can get to, such as the Database as a Service Monitor console, Application Express, Glassfish Administration, and as well as EM Express. We can also delete this instance if we want to as well. What we now need to do is open up ports so we can access some of these administrative consoles. By default, the only port open on a database cloud service is port 22, the SSH port. So let's go ahead and open the SSL port, or port 443. To open up ports for our database cloud service, we need to go to the Compute console. We can get there by clicking this menu in the upper left-hand corner of our page. Once this menu is open, go ahead and select Oracle Compute Cloud Service. The Compute Cloud Service page shows us information about all of our running instances right here in this report. But what we're interested in is the Network tab. Once we click the Network tab, we're brought to all the network ports that we can close and open. We can also change the format of the report by clicking this icon right here into a list view. We're looking for the SSL port, so by using this filtering text box, we can type SSL, press enter, and now we find the port we need to open. To open it, we simply click this menu icon, hit the update selection, and change the status from disabled to enabled, and then the update button. This port is now open. We can use this very same page to open other ports into our database cloud service. Let's go back to our database cloud service console. We can do that by clicking in the upper left-hand corner of this menu and selecting Database Cloud Service. Back on the Database Cloud Service console, we can go and visit this menu pop-up again. We can now access these consoles because we open up the SSL port. Let's start by opening up or viewing the Database as a Service Monitor console. Go ahead and click on this link. After clicking on this link, we're given a password or authentication box. The user we're going to use is Database as a Service DBAAS _ monitor, MONITOR, and the password is the same password that you used when you created the initial instance. Here is the Database as a Service Monitor tool. This particular tool was written specifically for our database cloud services. It is a full HTML5 application that works on any device, whether it be a phone, a tablet, or a laptop or desktop browser. With this tool, we can view our databases, the status of the databases, create PDBs, clone PDBs, start and stop our database, start and stop our listener, look at alert log files, see how the OS is doing. We can also use this tool to change init parameters right from a mobile device, a tablet, or from your desktop. Back over on our Database Cloud Service console, let's use the same menu and open our Application Express console. This link will bring you straight to the Oracle Application Express login page. Here we can log into an existing workspace or log into the administrative workspace and create our own workspaces for us to use in our Database Cloud Service. A full Database as a Service instance may not be for everyone. You may just want a single schema, Oracle REST data services, and Oracle Application Express. That's where you can use the Oracle Database Express Cloud Service. That gives you exactly that, a single schema in the cloud, Oracle REST data services, and Application Express. You log in just as you would log in for a Database Cloud Service. You come to cloud.oracle.com and you log in the same way. Once logged in, we see a much simpler dashboard with a single service, which is our schema service. If we want to look at our details of our schema service, we hit the details link right here. Here we can see the details about our service. We can see our plan, we can see our service start date, and we can see a whole bunch of URLs for SFTPing. That basically comes with exports. We'll talk about that in a second, as well as the service URL. We can also see a button called the Open Service Console, and that'll bring us directly into Application Express. Now over on the side, I did talk about the export button, so let's click on that and let me tell you a little bit about that. So here, what we can do is we could take a full export of our schema in our schema service. It's a data pump export, so we can actually take that export, download it using SFTP, and move it into an existing Oracle database, and using data pump import, bring that schema into our database. Now let's click that Open Service Console button and see where it brings us. As I said before, it brings us directly into Application Express. In fact, it brings us into the Application Express Builder. Here we can build applications, use SQL Workshop, team development, or deploy a packaged application. So let's review what we saw today. First, we saw provisioning an Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service. We saw it's extremely simple. All you need to do is select your edition, give some bits and pieces of information about what you want to call the database, the password, and where you'd like to put backups, and then we hit the Create button. And at about 15 to 30 minutes later, we have a full running Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service ready to be used. And with this cloud service, we get Application Express, Oracle REST Data Services, Enterprise Manager Express, as well as that new Database as a Service console. We should also remember some key features of this Oracle Database Enterprise Cloud Service, that all new tablespace data files are encrypted by default. This instance, when it comes up, the only port that's open is port 22, and you have to have that private-public key exchange and the matching key pairs to be able to be allowed in. And it's very easy to open and close ports by going into our compute console and just saying enable or disable a particular port you want to open. Also remember that you get full root and Oracle user access to these instances. You have full access to that OS, and you could do pretty much anything you want on that instance. We also took a quick look at the Oracle Database Express Cloud Service. This is a great service if you want a fully managed database where you don't have to ever worry about patching or extending the data files. Again, this service gives you Application Express, Oracle REST data services, and a single schema in the cloud. I'd like to thank you for your time watching this today, and let's open it up for Q&A.